Hello students, hope you are safe and sound, staying at home and enjoying home learning. My name is Vinay Shankar and I am here discussing my first chapter of 9th class SST. It is the French Revolution. Okay, so let's start heading, that is French Revolution. It is made with two words. First is French and second is revolution. French means people of France and the revolution means it stands for an action taken by a large group of people to try to change the government of a country, especially by violent acts. Before starting our topic, here there are two questions to ask about. The first question is why it was happened. We are talking about the French Revolution. Why the French Revolution happened? And the second question, main question, is what was the reason behind it? But to have deep understanding, we have to first acknowledge the society division that was in France at that time. Because without have a good knowledge about the society division, it is very difficult to understand the circumstances that were supported the outbreak of French Revolution. So let's have a look of society division first, and then we will discuss the decision that was taken by Louis XVI and the reactions of common peoples that were transferred in a revolt of France. Okay, let's start. During 18th century, French society was divided into first, second and third state. Here, the third state is very important. First and second states refers to clergy and nobility respectively, but the third states mainly known for peasants and artisans. It was further subdivided into small peasants, landless laborers, and servant. As we shown in the chart, you can see clergies are the top, then nobility comes, and in bottom we can see big businessmen, merchants, court officers, lawyers, etc. Further we can see peasants and artisans, and at last small peasant, landless laborers and servants. These are the peoples. They were actually very poor and has to be paid direct taxes named taille, with a number of indirect taxes levied on articles of everyday consumption like salt and tobacco. You can see these everyday consumptions like salt and tobacco was badly needed by everyone. So we can say that they are in a big burden of taxes. And here two very important points to be noted down. Number one point is third states has almost 90% of population of the country with an only 10% of land proportion. But in next hand, clergy and nobility occupies 60% to 80% of land, enjoyed certain privileges by birth, and most important point that they were exempted from paying taxes to state. The second important point, clergy directly extracted its shares of taxes called tithes from the peasants. This is very important point to be remembered. So we can say that here we can have a clear idea about how all the burden of taxes was cleverly put on the shoulders of third states. They were no one but the poor who were paying all the taxes and work for other rich peoples of the society without getting a handful amount. And and they were also obliged to render service to the Lord, to work in the houses and fields, to serve in the army, or to participate in building roads. And the important thing, they have nothing in return. Let's move on the few other regions that are remarkable and mainly supported the French Revolt. Then in 1774, Louis XVI of the Bourbon family of kings ascended the throne of France. The new king found an empty treasure. French government was obliged to spend an increasing percentage of its budget on interest payment. Here we can also discuss some reason why they have made a decision to increase interest payment. The first reason was long year of war had drained the financial resources of France. Number 2, the cost of maintaining an extravagant court at the Eminence Palace of Versailles. That is, France helped the 13 American colonies to gain their independence from the common enemy, Britain. The war added billions livres to a debt that has already risen to more than 2 billion livres. Lenders who gave the state credit now began to charge 10% interest of land. To meet its regular expenses such as the cost of maintaining an army, the court, running government offices or universities, the state was forced to increase taxes. The third very important reason that contributed a big role was subsistence crisis. The population of France rose from about 23 million in 1715 to 28 million in 1789. This led to rapid increase in the demand for food grains. Production of grains could not keep pace with the demand. So the price of bread, which was the staple diet of the majority, rose rapidly. Most workers were employed as labor in workshop whose owner fixed their wages. Wages did not keep pace with the rise in prices. So the gap between the poor and the rich widened. Things become worse whenever drought or hail reduce the harvest. These are the three very important things that was fully responsible for an outbreak of French Revolution. Rising of middle class would be one of them that supported this revolt and helped this revolt to change into a revolution. We will discuss this in our next lesson. Very important reason that contributed a big role